everyone, it's Michelle from Michelle's Home and Garden. Welcome! I have big news for you. It's the reveal day today. We have been working on the fountain circle for about the last 3 weeks, and I'll insert footage here to show you all the steps we took to do a revamp on the fountain. Now, the fountain circle, it was newly done back in around the summer of 21, so it's fairly new. But the big thing that I've done in the garden this year is I had edging put throughout the backyard garden to help with defining that edge along the garden space and the actual green space of the grass. Well, I continued that on the fountain circle, and once we started that process, it uncovered some things that we needed to fix and things that I wanted to change. So that's what you're going to be seeing today, is the steps we took to update it and change it. And then at the end, we'll do the reveal of how it turned out. It is still underway. It's looking good, all the plants that I planted, but that will be what the contractor will be working on next week when he comes back, is digging that out and for the stonework that's going to go in there. So as you can see, the edging got put in. What happened though is the backyard grade is not level, the ground, and by putting the edging in, it really emphasized that it was not level. He did the rototilling last night for the first time, and it'll need some additional rototilling, and then we're going to try to flatten that out. Okay guys, as you can see, this is round 2. So if you've never seen a rototiller before and how it works, right now my husband is going through and he is doing a second pass, is what we call it, trying to break it down so then we can rake it out to level it up. This is finishing up round 2, going to round 3. So my husband rototilled it for the second time, and then he took the rake and raked it out, trying to even it out. So let me show you. I'll get closer. He is going to come in for a third time and rototill again, and then we'll rake it out. But as you can see, it looks like there's too much dirt now that he started rototilling. And that's what he said too. So we're thinking that we may have to haul some of this dirt out, that it's going to be too much. And that was the problem with the fountain. If you recall, I said back in this quadrant over here, it was really mounded up, the ground was. And so now that he's, chopped that all up and we've tried to level it up, I think there is going to be maybe too much dirt. So that'll be our next step. He'll rototill again this morning, and we'll rake it out and then see if we need to take out dirt and go from there. Okay, this is the third pass with the rototiller, and that was really hard packed clay soil. So we're trying to get that all broke up, all the dirt clods, so that we can rake it out and level it out and see how much dirt needs to come out of that fountain circle to even it up. Now is raking it out, and he's making piles of dirt that he thinks needs to come out in between the boxwoods. So we will be wheelbarrowing those out of this area to flatten it out more. But as you can see, there's quite a bit of dirt that needs to come out to get rid of all the unevenness of the grade. Shoveling all of this out. And yes, I am also helping on this, but of course not near as much as what my husband's doing. So we will continue taking out all of the mounds that you see in the circle and then re-raking it out and see how it looks. Okay, next step. All the dirt has been hauled out by wheelbarrow, and I lost track of how many wheelbarrows got taken out, but there was lots. And then it was all raked out and smoothed out again. So now the next step is I bought boxwoods to finish the boxwood circle. And like I mentioned, I had done this a couple years ago, and after the first winter lost about half of them. So I'm going to try it again and see how well it goes. And so that will be my next step, is planting the boxwoods. I had some in there that you can see are a little bit bigger than some of the littler ones. So I had to plant 7 boxwoods in between some of the more established boxwoods. So I got all of those planted up, and I've been watering them quite often with the dry weather right now. And then the next step will be the contractor will be coming back next week, and we will be putting fabric down and then doing a layer of rock. So one of the things that we talked about was that the grass in between the pavers, and our contractor put that special polymer sand in between the cracks, which I don't think, he mentioned that when he talked to them at the quarry, that isn't something that they do a lot of times. But my concern was grass in the cracks. Now the circle has not been done yet because we're gonna have it, it'll be done later. But do you see, it's exactly what I'm talking about. What kind of pain would that be, trying to pull up that water grass that starts growing through all of those paver stones? So I am really for doing that concrete type polymer sand in between these cracks. And so what he did was he went through and he would pour it on the other ones, and then take like a big paintbrush and then brush it and then let it settle and then pour more in. So very time consuming, but I'm hoping in the long run that really cuts down on the weeding. Okay guys, the circle got the rocks today, the landscape rocks. So our contractor came today and worked on the project all day today. He brought in about 3 loads of rock, and I had planted the boxwood and he put the landscape fabric down, and then he did work on the circle. He wanted to realign it, and the base that the fountain sits on, my husband built a new one. Went back to Menards and bought more of the paver stones and did a base for the fountain to set on. So we're trying to make it more level there. And he did come through and do the sand in between the stones like I wanted him to. Because of that issue I showed you, that there was already grass growing in between the stones, and I did not want to have to deal with that. So I'm hoping that the sand will hold up well and keep that grass at bay. So the next step will be to move the fountain back in place and get it all hooked back up again and filled up. Here's the end result. It took a few weeks, but it was well worth it. Look at how it turned out. So thank you so much for checking in and seeing the update, and have a good day and enjoy your garden.